What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I did want to go over the 5 final vehicles I did end up going after that are going to be on the rare side as a new player. And I also did want to talk about how I'm probably going to be retiring from, I guess you could say, the auction house for a bit. Now, the first one here I did want to talk about is going to be the E63S. We are all going to be aware of how many people want this car, man. Luckily, it's not too expensive to get. Of course, if you are going to be lucky, I think it sells for like 2.7. I somehow managed to get this one for 74,000 credits, though, so I can't complain there. It is going to have the Brabus parts. I think I said that right. Also, let me know in the comments below if there is another car with Brabus, tomato, tomato, in this game that is going to have parts for it. I'm not sure on that, but I am curious because if there is, I definitely want to get it. Now, this car is going to be very popular, guys. The E63S, a great looking vehicle. And on top of that, it's also going to be a V8 bi-turbo, opening all the doors up here in the Forza Vista. This is going to be a very nice looking car. It's going to be a 2018 model, and I really do love the way the interior looks, man. Just check this out. Let me sit in here quickie and just showing this, guys. Look at the carbon fiber. See the AMG, the detail of the buttons. I'm not sure how I feel about the huge double screen there on the Mercedes, but then again, it honestly doesn't look bad because it kind of like fits the car, I guess, with the way it's in there. It doesn't look like they kind of just like tack on a weird looking like tablet in the car or something. So at least this thing is going to look great. Now, we all do know the E63S is going to be the type of car that basically everybody wants to get. So spawning outside here, the first thing I did want to do is going to head into the photo mode and show you guys a couple of things. So first things first, I'm going to have like the white mattish paint on there. I'm also going to have the carbon wheels, at least that's what I did to it. And then for the back of the car, I did also end up doing the, I guess you could say, carbon mini wing type of thing back there. Is going to look pretty dope. You can't change the color of that, but that was something I was aiming for with this car that I did end up tinting the windows. Nothing else was done there. This car is going to come in all-wheel drive. It's also going to be very quick. I'm actually kind of surprised how fast this car is. Like, I never drove it. I did manage to get one, and I really did want to get this car, so when I finally won it, I'm like, yo, let me drive it. It's pretty dang fast, but I feel like this car will probably be fairly competitive. Even using the launch control, this thing is going to move fairly well. And I would say for the class this thing is going to be in, which is, what class is it in again? Super Saloons, I would say this is probably going to be on the better side. It is going to be S1. And I would say for an S1 Super Saloon, this car is probably going to be fairly good. The other vehicle I was using that's also going to be in the lovely Super Saloon class, or at least in the category of big sedans, is going to be the Flying Spur. That thing is obviously going to be a boat, and it's going to be way bigger than the E63, but I gotta admit, this car is definitely beautiful, guys. I love the way it sounds. I like the way it drives. And look at the interior here quick as well. Don't want to forget that. See, both of the screens are on. You can see like the middle dash there. Let me hit that a little bit. Wow, you know what's really cool too is how some of the things move, like the horsepower thing moves. You see the boost moving and the actual feet-pound of torque. I think that's what that bottom thing is. But I do like the way how the dashes in Forza Horizon 5 actually work, and a lot of them are probably going to make players drive in first person even more. But either way, the E63 is definitely a GOAT. If you guys do want to get this car, I would recommend hanging out in the auction house and getting ready to snipe, because this thing is probably going to be fairly hard to win. But moving over to the second car on the list, though, is going to be the 1995 Cobra R. I'm actually going to probably come out and say this is most likely the rarest car I've gotten. Funny part is, I did manage to snag this car at around 2:45 in the morning. I was checking it out going, you know what? Maybe one might come in, maybe it won't. I'm also probably going to post a video of me winning cars in the auction house, so do stay tuned for that because this one is going to be in there most likely. Funny part is, guys, I actually backed out when I saw this car because I go through it so quick. Look at that 5.8 liters. Is that what that says? That's what that says. Cobra, man, look at that motor detail. Really does look amazing. Now, as I did mention before, though, I did end up backing out on this car, and I immediately clicked it again, and boom, the car was still there. I pretty much spammed my button, hoping that nobody bought it by then, and I did manage to get it. I actually think this might be one of the rarer cars in the game, at least considered compared to most of them. This might even be like top 3, top 5, maybe, I'm not sure, but I have seen a lot of people talking about it, saying this car is definitely not easy to come by. Overall, I really do like the way this car looks. I would say this one and the '03 SVT Cobra, which I'll probably show that one in this video as well because it's probably just as rare as this one is. But look at the interior though, man. 1995. You know what's funny? I think it looks good. I do like the way the interior looks in this car. I would say a lot of people are probably going to be old school. They're most likely going to enjoy this. Instead of seeing like a gigantic tablet screen in this car, nah, bro, it's going to be basically like fully mechanical, probably not going to be anything insane there, which I kind of think many people are going to be a fan of. But here, let me back out of here though and go drive this thing real quick, take an outside look at it, man. Like the 95 Cobra R, when I first saw a video of this thing, I was like, no, bro, I have to try to get this car. I knew it was going to be hard to get because, well, I feel like a lot of people who have this car are most likely not going to sell it. And part of me was kind of looking at this car going, you know what, man, I'm probably never going to get this thing. Like, how is anybody ever going to sell the 95 Cobra? This thing is going to be in ways more rare than the '03 one is. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm probably not going to be able to get one. But when I saw this thing pop up in that entire shop, bro, I legit freaked out. I had to grab it. And I will also show the '03 after this one. I figured why not, because these cars are fairly similar. Also different, I have to admit. Do you guys like this one or the 2003? Again, I'm going to do that one next here, but I gotta say, like, this car is beautiful. I love the overall style design of the old Cobra, man. Definitely looks great. It is kind of weird looking at this car going, yeah, this thing is legit 30 years old, man, and it still looks so dang good, and in ways, kind of looks better than new cars do. Okay, so as I did promise before, though, I now want to show you guys the 2003 SVT Cobra. Now, this is also going to be known as the Terminator, so if you are wondering, I did end up adding a paint code to it from Stevio. He did such an amazing job on this, man, like legit wow. I did end up seeing the share code in his video, which I'll leave a link in the description to that video if you guys want to check that one out. He was going over some rare cars there, which is actually how I found this paint job on it. So if you do want to check that out, I would recommend it. A lot of great cars in there, including this one. And I would say that's probably going to make some players go after it, which funny part is it kind of made me go after it because I'm like, yo, no, I want to get the Terminator Cobra. This thing is dope. But the big question I have for everybody, though, is would you rather have the 2003 model like this one, or would you rather get the 1995? I know they are going to be different with the way they look and stuff. I would say people are probably going to like this one more. Both cars have Celine parts on them. I kind of like the way this one looks a bit more with the Celine parts on it and stuff. But again, I guess it's probably going to be a selective or like a preference type of thing. Let's go take a look at the interior. So from going from 1995 to 2003, I think we can probably safely say the interior has most likely updated a bit. And I do admit, I think this car is probably going to look a tad better. Now, I do understand it is going to be an updated interior compared to the 95. So, yeah, probably is going to look a tad better. But then again, though, again, it's probably going to be a preference type of thing. Also, I finally figured out how to get out of the car easier. I've been using the analog stick wrong. I actually point it up when I should be pointing it to the side to exit out of the vehicle. Who would have thought? But let's move over to the outside of this car. Now, I am going to be running the Ratiform or Rotiform. Probably messed it up, but you guys know what I mean. Either way, I am going to be running the paint code from Stevio there. I think this is going to be the OME color on it. Looks so dang good. Now, one of the reasons why I was going after this car, though, was for one, I knew it wasn't going to be insanely expensive. So I'm like, okay, well, I should be able to get one then. I do know a lot of players want it. And, well, being able to snipe this car, though, guys, I'm not going to lie, is probably going to be very hard. But the one good thing about it is if you are going after the 2003 Cobra like this one here, let's say you wanted this car over the 1995, okay? This car in ways is probably going to be easier to get for one simple reason. You're most likely going to be seeing more of these than you're probably going to be seeing of the 1995. That car, I would say, is going to be more rare, and it also sells for way more. That car is probably going to be seen for 20 million, whereas the most I think I've seen this car is like 1.4 and a half or something. So yeah, this thing is going to be cheaper, and I would probably say it's going to be a preference thing, but if you're most likely into older Mustangs, and specifically the Terminator, you are most likely going to go after this one, or you could do what I did and simply get both of them. It is going to be the GMC Cyclone. Now, you're all probably going to notice that this truck is probably going to be very rare, and insanely enough, I was going through the auction house and stuff. I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll get one, maybe I won't. There probably isn't going to be a lot of these. I was checking Reddit and stuff, and a lot of people are saying this truck is insanely rare, and it's probably going to be very hard to get, and I also did know this thing was going to sell for, you guessed it, $20 million. But when I was looking through the auction house, I kept clicking it and going through it. I managed to grab this truck for 138,000, man. I still can't believe it, to be real. I honestly still can't believe it. But the Cyclone is going to be a very cool truck. Now, I am going to have a build on this thing for A rank. Apparently, it's going to be incredibly good on A rank. So I'm like, yeah, let me do that. Let me try it out. And guys, I gotta admit, the GMC Cyclone is going to be a really cool looking truck. I know this thing is very rare. And on top of that, it's going to be the kind of truck you're most likely going to want to get and, you know, probably max it for that category and stuff. The only issue is I feel like a lot of people are probably not going to be able to get their hands on this thing because it is legit going to be that rare. Now, I'm not saying it's never going to show up in the auction house, man, but going after this thing really kind of made me go into like an early retirement of the auction house. There's still some cars I want to get. A quick example of that is going to be the GT Black Series. I still want that. And I'm also going after the E55 AMG, but I've yet to actually be able to get one because every time one of them show up in the shop, they're kind of gone in a near instant. So, yeah, kind of hard to get one of those, bro. But with that being said, I think going after the Cyclone probably is going to make me slow down a bit. I definitely wanted to get this rare truck. Turns out I was able to snag one, guys, and driving this thing so far here in A rank, it is going to be all-wheel drive and stuff. It handles very well. It is also going to be really quick, so I feel like it's going to be a great contender in the A category. Do let me know in the comments below. I did hear something about a rumor that apparently this truck is like amazing. Do let me know. I'll have to try out some races and do some PvP with it, but I am so dang glad I managed to get a Cyclone, man. This truck is crazy rare. Funny part is I was actually going to put the Koenigsegg Agera into the video, but I kind of ended up going through getting rid of that part, having the Cyclone in there. I'm most likely going to do a separate video on the Koenigsegg Agera. It is going to be the first gen 2011 one. That thing is pretty insane, but I think we can all agree the Cyclone is easily going to be a lot more rare than that thing. Overall, though, guys, I gotta say it, when you are going after vehicles in the auction house, I've had a lot of questions about it. I am going to release a video of me buying a lot of these vehicles and stuff like that, and I'm also going to talk about it in the beginning of what I did to make your life a tad easier going after them. But either way, no matter what you're probably going to do to get these vehicles, it's still going to take some time, man. It is probably going to sound dumb, but I can recommend some patience. I was like, man, I'm never going to get the Cyclone, or I'm never going to get the 911 GT3. Well, a little bit of patience, going in and out of the auction house, good timing and stuff, and boom, I managed to get my hands on a lot of these rare cars as a new player on PlayStation 5. So moving over to the final car here, which is going to be the fifth one. I'm not going to lie here either, guys. This might actually be one of my favorite cars in the game. This is going to be the Koenigsegg Agera. Now, yes, before you say anything, this is going to be the 2011 one, which I really do love. What in the world, bro? That looks, that was not what I was expecting at all. But this, I feel like, is probably one of my favorite cars in the game. I've always been a fan of the Agera R, probably my favorite car back in Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012. I did also like that car back in the Crew 2, and it's pretty dope in Motorfest. But check out the original Agera. This is going to be the one before the Agera R, which is probably fairly obvious. But check out the motor design in this thing, man. It looks so good. In fact, I was even going to do a second video on this car. I'm probably still deciding. I'm most likely going to do it. But just look how the doors open, man. That's crazy. This thing really is insane, but I had to include this car in here because I'm like, yo, the Agera is so dope, and I do know this car is also going to be very rare, at least from what I have seen in the lovely, you know, auction house there. I have not seen a lot of people talk about this car, and I do know it's probably going to be on the rare side, so I was kind of looking through the auction house trying to get one. Funny part is this car wasn't that expensive. I think it was like 900K, but I have seen it sell over $1 million. But man, the Agera R is going to look so dang great. In this game, it's also going to be, I think it's base S1, and then once you unlock it a bit or, you know, put some stuff on it, it's going to turn into an S2 vehicle. But man, this car is so dang dope, man. Probably going to want to run some traction control on it because I'm going to be sliding everywhere. Look at that. Sliding McSliding, bruh. Okay, then. Probably have to put on some TC so this thing doesn't slide a lot, or all-wheel drive swap, but I really didn't want to. Check out the interior view of this thing, man. So we're going to have the actual dash there, going to be in kilometers. I'm shocked there. You're also going to see the reflection of the blue stripe on the window, which is pretty dope. You see the carbon fiber. This thing really is going to look so dang dope. I was originally going after this car kind of thinking I was never probably going to get it. But it does turn out, though, it somehow showed up in the auction house. I think I lost 2 or 3 before I got this one. I just wasn't fast enough on the other 2 or 3 there, which it happens. You know what I'm saying? In the auction house, you definitely can't win everything. That's probably going to be a mild thing there, but at least I still did end up getting one. Now, as I did mention in the beginning of the video, I am most likely going to be taking a break from the auction house, or at least, not spending as much time in there because I've kind of been going a bit insane. I have been getting a lot of the lovely, I guess you could say, the rarest cars in the game. I have a lot of them. Very, very happy. I'm not tired of the auction house or anything because I honestly might still go in there and try to buy and flip a few cars in here and there, trying to make some extra money. But overall, I do feel like a lot of people going into the auction house, guys, the biggest thing I can say is have some patience, though, because that is probably going to be the best way to get them. I know that might honestly sound kind of dumb, but coming from someone who has gotten most of the rare vehicles, being a brand new player, I can definitely say some patience and also like a timing thing of, being in the right place, right moment thing is probably going to play a role there. Overall, though, I would like to know your thoughts on the Koenigsegg Agera here. This thing, for me, probably one of my personal favorites. I love it. I don't really want to all-wheel drive swap this car, but I would probably say doing that might make it a tad better. Then again, maybe I should just turn on some TC, might help this thing out a bit, because in the rain, as you guys can see right now, it's kind of struggling a bit. Maybe my tires, I have slicks. I also have slicks. That is probably playing a role. Might want to put on semi-slicks, would probably help it a bit. Not really going to make a huge difference if I throw those on there. But do let me know your thoughts on the Agera and the cars I went over in this video, like the E63, also the 95 Cobra, and the 03 Terminator. I feel like a lot of people are going to love most of these cars, guys. All of them are great. And also, I can't forget about the 911 GT3. Do let me know in the comments below some of your favorite rare cars in this game, guys. I am curious. Let me know if you have them. Let me know if you don't and if you're going after them. I'm also, as I did say earlier, I am going to post a video of me just buying cars in the auction house and stuff. It's probably going to be around 2 or 3 minutes long. Nothing insane, but I did want to show it. That way it might even show some hope that, yo, this stuff is possible.